Somebody on YouTube said 415 is crazy, bro. Good luck. They must be somebody who's kind of new to the channel. Good morning, Blackfire. Good to see you. Esteban Trevino became a member at some point. Nice. Cool. I just showed up and I already have a new member. Command bar. It's called Volex. What are you talking about? Good morning, Omanian. Good morning, Blackfire. I've decided to make my own Rust CLI tool. That sounds like fun. Yeah, CLI tools are so much fun to make. I think command line tools are a blast. I don't think everything needs a GUI in a lot of cases, you know? All right. We're back. We're probably going to do a little bit of reading today, chat. Hopefully we're going to do a little bit of writing Rust code too, but we'll see how this goes. It's pronounced Volhex. Yeah, but I don't command bar. That's what I'm fucking trying to tell you. I don't know what you're talking about. What I said invalidated. Like I don't know what I don't know what you're referring to. Why are you trying to why are you correcting me about Volx or Volhex? I don't understand. Okay. All right, command bar. It's 3 minutes into the stream and you're sending me, man. I don't fucking understand what you're talking about. So I'm just gonna ignore it. Obadian, I feel the Rust reading is kind of boring. Oh, it for sure is boring. But but that's what I've signed up for. So that's what we're gonna do. I am not a quitter. Komodo Dragon. Good evening. Why the sad face, Komodo Dragon? Command bar. It's a OS that I made. Okay, well, I don't understand why you didn't say that. It's almost like you started talking to me like we were in the middle of a conversation, but we weren't in a conversation. So that's cool that you made an OS, but like Komodo swag. I wish it were morning for me right now. Oh, well, I mean, if you wanna hang out, you can still hang out, but if you got to go to bed, I get it. I get it, man. I get it. We all got to do our sleep. Unfortunately, I wish there was a pill you could take that could make you not have to sleep anymore. That would be fantastic if someone could create that. Let's see, where were we? I think we were here. Yeah, we were here. So I do think we are going to get to write some code today. I think this is the topic that's going to talk to us about arc, which is the smart pointer we need to learn about in order to do the exercise. This is the exercise we need to do. Something about being highly addictive. You mean pills that make you not have to sleep are highly addictive? Oh, I get what you mean. I see what you're saying. I got you. I was like, what is he talking about? Now I understand. Command bar. Can you check it out? It's written in Python, my OS. Yeah, sure. Post it in my Discord, in the projects channel. That's the best. That if you want me to see something, that's the best place to put it. I don't really look at that stuff on stream though, because then if I look at one person's stuff on stream, then I need to look at everybody's stuff on stream, and then it just kind of gets unwieldy. 199. Operation Get the Fuck Out is in hyperdrive right now. Hey, Steven. What? Why have you initiated Operation Get the Fuck Out? I don't understand. Also, good morning. Good morning to you too. Hope you're doing well. I think we were talking about Mutexes. Create a counter. I remember all this multiple ownership. There we go. I think we were like right here yesterday. Getting bored here at work. Oh, I see. Yeah, I think we've all had days like that where it was initiate operation, get the fuck out. I just called it, instead of calling it get the fuck out, I just called it Operation Hold On for Dear Life. Good morning, I've arrived. It's time for coffee break. Good morning, Gun Eyes. Good morning. It is not time for a coffee break because I have my coffee. Ratcha. Ratha. And it is delicious. It is warm and it is delicious and it's cozy. All right. Let's learn about this atomic reference counter so we can write some code this morning. Unfortunately, RCT is not safe to share across threads. What about a second coffee? Oh, we're going to get a second coffee. But, you know, one thing at a time, man. This isn't I'm not a multi-threaded thing, okay? We can only drink one coffee at a time. When that coffee's done, then we get the next coffee, you know? I mean, sometimes we do drink coffee while making more coffee, but that's because we've strategically laid out the tasks to finish the first cup by the time the second one is done being made, right? Gunnas, what do you mean you were learning concurrency? Yeah, I'm single threaded, man. I'm a single threaded machine. Unfortunately, RCT is not safe to share across threads. When RCT manages the reference count, it adds to the count for each call to clone and subtracts from the count when each clone is dropped. Good morning, Jaquise. Single-threaded but multi-processing machine. I guess there is some concurrency. Like there is some concurrency here, but it's on a single thread. It's like this is like a JavaScript runtime over here. There's just a lot of task switching, you know. But it doesn't use any concurrency primitives to make sure that changes to the count can't be interpreted by another thread. This could lead to wrong counts, subtle bugs that could. Oh, I think we already finished that. All right, now we're learning about atomic reference counting. Right, that's why you should switch to C#. It's fully multi-process and multi-threaded. Dude, I can't wait to get back to C#. I mean, I'm having fun learning Rust, but like I'm just done. I'm just ready to be done reading, you know? So like I'm ready to be done with the book and rustlings, and I'm ready to start some of my C# projects. You know, I want to build. I don't want to just learn for the sake of learning. I want to build. I've spent like the last 90 days learning a lot, and learning is fun, but like, you know, 2-3 weeks straight of just 3 hours of learning every day is a lot. Oh, I can't fucking wait when we'll get back to .NET. Oh, we're gonna be back, man. We're gonna be so back. It's gonna be so back. Let's see. The A stands for atomic, meaning it's an atomically reference counted type. Atomics are an additional kind of concurrency primitive that we won't cover in detail here. See the standard library documentation for standard sync atomic for more details. At this point, you just need to know that atomics work like primitive types but are safe to share across threads. Wonderful. For me, was mad I didn't go. Didn't do any work yesterday. Oh well, don't be mad at yourself. Sometimes shit happens, man. Okay, we can't beat ourselves up. It's like a quarterback. I don't know if you're familiar with football, but like in football, we always say like you got to have a short-term memory, right? It's like you fuck up on one play, you can't sit there and dwell on it. You got to move on. You got to play the next play. So that's how you have to be in life too. Some days are great, some days are good, and you just, you try to learn what you can from the days where you fuck up, but the good thing is tomorrow you get to do it all over again, So, Gunhighs, there will be no .NET framework over here. In my opinion, in my very strong opinion, Microsoft needs to nuke .NET framework. As long as .NET framework hangs around, it is going to hold back the adoption of .NET, because .NET framework and .NET Core create confusion for folks, and .NET framework continues to confuse people that .NET is Windows only, that it's not cross-platform. It just has all this legacy baggage to it, and they just need to kill it. I know they're never going to do that, but that's my opinion. Monty, what is the most amount of coffee you drink in a single stream? Probably a couple cups. I mean, the thing is, if I get up too many times to make coffee, then people probably lose interest because I'm out of my chair so much, and it eats up a lot of time, right? So, like, you're talking about like anywhere between 5 and 10 minutes of a 2.5 hour roughly stream. It eats a lot of time. So I usually try to bring a coffee to the desk when I sit down, and then I usually try to make time to go for one additional one in the middle of the stream. If the streams were longer, it'd probably be more, but like streams are roughly 3 hours, so I feel like 2 cups of coffee is a good sweet spot. I don't think Microsoft would remove anything that would make people think they have to use or stay in the Microsoft garden. I have no idea, honestly, though. But if I don't know how much you follow the .NET ecosystem, like the .NET team is very pro cross-platform, and a large portion of the Microsoft organization is very pro cross-platform, because Microsoft doesn't give two shits about Windows anymore. Windows is not their business, right? Their business is the cloud. Their business is Azure. And the majority of things that run in their cloud on Azure run on Linux anyways, right? So like they really don't care that much about Windows. The problem with .NET Framework is just it's so legacy, and so many things are baked on top of it, right? Like Visual Studio, right? Depends on .NET Framework in a lot of ways. Like there's so many existing APIs and legacy tech, right? And Microsoft is known for being very, very serious about backwards compatibility. That's why, like, when you open certain menus in Windows, you're all of a sudden dive into like 1999. You all of a sudden end up in old school control panel. They hold on to stuff forever. But I think as a business, I don't think Microsoft cares about Windows. I think Microsoft is like, yeah, Windows. I don't fucking. What are you guys doing? I don't fucking know. Right? They care about Azure. They care about the cloud business. Azure is where all the good engineers work on at Microsoft. Azure, I don't know, but I don't know very much about the Azure engineering team. But in my opinion, the best engineers at Microsoft are the ones that I have the most visibility to. All work on the .NET team. Of course, you're right. Azure sucks even more. Windows is just internet playground with 30% AI code. Good morning, Maddie. Good to see you. Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with Windows until they try to shove too much AI into the thing. I'll be okay with it. But if like I log in one day and it's just a chat interface, like Windows becomes the first LLM only interface, then I might have a problem. Ilmanian, I'm gonna go. I may come back later. Okay, yeah, no worries, man. Thanks for stopping by this morning. Appreciate you. Have a nice day. We're gonna be over here learning Rust. You might then wonder why all primitive types aren't atomic and why standard library types aren't implemented using Arc by default. The reason is that thread safety comes with a performance penalty that you only want to pay when you really need to. If you're just performing operations on values within a single thread, your code can run faster if it doesn't have to enforce the guarantees atomics provide. Let's return to our example, argt and RCT. Excuse me. argt and RC have the same API, so we fix our program by changing the use line, the call to new, and the call to clone. Well, that's nice. This code will print the following. We did it. We counted from 0 to 10, which may not seem very impressive, but it did teach us a lot about mutex and thread safety. You could also use this program structure to do more complicated operations than just incrementing a counter. Using this strategy, you can divide a calculation into independent parts, split those parts across threads, and then use a mutex to have each thread update the final result with its part. Note that if you're doing simple numerical operations, there are types simpler than mutex, types provided by the standard sync atomic module of the standard library. These types provide safe concurrent atomic access to primitive types. We choose to use mutex with a primitive type for this example so we could concentrate on how mutexes work. You might have noticed that counter is immutable, but we could get a mutable reference to the value inside it. Where is this? Okay, yep, I see that. This means mutex provides interior mutability as the cell family does. In the same way we used refcell in chapter 15 to allow us to mutate contents inside an RCT, we use mutex T to mutate contents inside an ArcT. Another detail to note is that Rust can't protect you from all kinds of logic errors when you use mutex. Recall from chapter 15 that using RC came with the risk of creating reference cycles where two RCT values refer to each other, causing memory leaks. Similarly, mutex comes with the risk of creating deadlocks. Yeesh. These occur when an operation needs to lock two resources and cause two threads have each acquired one of the locks, causing them to wait for each other forever. If you're interested in deadlocks, try creating a Rust program that has a deadlock, then research deadlock mitigation strategies for mutexes in any language and have a go at implementing them in Rust. The standard library API documentation for mutex and mutex guard offers useful information. We'll round out this chapter by talking about the send and sync traits and how we can use them with custom types. Okay. Let's see. In some concurrency APIs, a mutex is separate from data it guards. For example, imagine a hypothetical mutex API like this. Yep. Which of the following best describes why Rust uses mutex instead of just mutex? To require fewer calls, to improve the efficiency, to prevent accessing a mutex's data without locking the mutex. If I had to guess, this is probably why. Yeah, I'm just going to guess. Determine whether the program will pass the compiler. If it passes, write the expected output of the program as if it were executed. Okay, so we create an own string. We create an arc to the string. We clone it. We spawn a thread to get the length. We wait on that thread. I think yeah, I think this does compile. And I think it's just hello world 11. I don't know, man. I feel like I've just been guessing on all these quizzes lately. Okay, let's see. Prevent access. Yep, okay, I got that one right. This program does compile. The output of this program will be hello world. Okay, so does it not compile? Why does it not compile? The program does not compile. An arc is still not safe to use if its data contains a reference, since the reference could, in theory, be invalidated before all threads containing the arc finish executing. Oh, so this would have to be like new S. You can't do this. Okay, fair enough. All right, let's see if we can go do that exercise now. Call in, good morning. I'm a C++ Windows developer, and for things like high-performance queues with data being created in one thread and consumed in another, I use critical sections. Nice. Okay, cool. I've never written any C++ code, and I don't know what the hell critical sections are, but nice to hear you have a solution for dealing with things that need high-performance queues. Maddie, have you worked with Blazor, by the way? If so, how's the experience? I like Blazor. Yeah, my blog is actually is actually a Blazor site. It's just a static website in Blazor. Blog.stephenfreeborn.com. It's a particularly it's a Blazor server application, which I think Blazor server probably offers the best of experience. I'm not a super big fan of the Blazor WebAssembly experience, particularly when the page loads. I don't like the fact that there's like this big wait to download the WebAssembly binary. Um, but yeah, I like Blazor, the technology, like writing web components and stuff in Blazor is nice. So now they kind of have an interesting rendering model now where Blazor is like you basically can create a Blazor application and you can sort of like it kind of reminds me a lot of like what Next.js or Nuxt are doing, where you can pick and choose what rendering model you want. You can render your stuff on the server, you can render on the client, you can have a mix of the two, you can do static rendering, right? Like, so they've kind of in the last release, I think it was .NET 9 when they introduced this, they have these different rendering modes that you can apply on a component or a page or an app level. So yeah, I'm a fan. I think Blazor's good. I see bundle size for Wasm app is still much. Yeah, I mean, you only pay the tax the first time you load the site, but I'm just not a big fan of that load. Um, like, I think it's like, let's see, Fluent, Blazor. See if I can, I think this uses it. So you can see like there's a big load time right here. And that load screen that you saw, oh, you guys couldn't see that. Whoops, wrong scene. Let me see if I can recreate it. Yeah, like this right here, the reason that this screen appears, right now it's already saying 100% because, whoops, hold on. Like, dang it. Ah! This thing right here. The reason that this exists is because this is a WebAssembly app, a Blazor WebAssembly app, and so the first time it loads, it has to make sure it has the WebAssembly binary. Now you only pay that tax once initially, the first time you load the web page, but it still makes for a clunky experience. So I'm not a big fan of the WebAssembly side of it. The downside with Blazor server is that you obviously always have to have a WebSocket connection, and that has some scale challenges. Now for me, that's not really a thing because everything I build is never going to have enough load to really matter. But if you're building something that you need to scale to like 100,000, 200,000 concurrent users, I think you can potentially run into some challenges with Blazor, with the server, Blazor server model. Good morning, Oblivion. Good to see you. Gunheist. Anyway, get back to work, Steven. Have fun at today's stream. Have a good day. See you, Gunheist. Thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate you. Okay, let's see what we're doing here. This is the exercise that we've been trying to do for 48 hours, and we're finally getting to do it now. The third thread. Wait, I'm starting like in the middle of the paragraph. Okay, in this exercise, we are given a vec of U32 called numbers with values ranging from 0 to 99. We would like to use this set of numbers within 8 different threads simultaneously. Each thread is going to get the sum of every 8th value with an offset. The first thread, offset 0, will sum 0, 8, and 16. The second thread will sum 1, 9, and 17. The third thread, okay, and so on, and the 8th thread, 7. Okay, so each thread should own a reference counting pointer to the vector of numbers, but RC isn't thread safe. Therefore, we need to use arc. Don't get just distracted by how threads are spawned and joined. We will practice that later in the exercise about threads. Define shared numbers by using arc. Let mut join handles. So this is just a list. We're building up a list of the handles that we spawn. Define child numbers using shared numbers. Okay. Join handles dot push. All right. So what does shared numbers look like? So I guess shared numbers is going to look like arc new numbers like this. And then we have to figure out what numbers we're going to take. This one I'm not sure how to do. So let's see. Oh, I think this is where we clone, right? Yeah, I think this is what they're asking us to do here is clone. So we do arc clone shared numbers. So we do that. Okay. And then what's the handle doing here? So what we do is for each, so we're going to spawn 8 threads, and that thread is going to take the numbers, a copy, right, or a referenced, should own a reference counting pointer to the numbers. So this is, each spawn is going to take a referenced counting pointer to the shared numbers, and then each thread is going to iterate over those numbers, and looks like it's going to mod 8. It's going to take every number and mod it by 8 and see if it checks the offset. Where's the offset? Oh, okay. This is how they're calculating 0, 8, 16, so on and so forth. Then they sum it all up and then they print it. And then we obviously capture all the handles. We wait for each of the handles to complete and print. So let's see if this works. Wrestlings. God, we did a lot of reading for that exercise. Ooh, boy, that took me all of 5 minutes, and we had to read like 4 hours worth of reading to get through that. That was probably not worth all that reading. Good morning, Duck Boy. How you doing? Let's see, somebody just had an event show up on... What's that event say? Can't see it. Oblivion's currently on a 10 stream streak. Holy moly. She must have a crap ton of channel points to spend. Holy moly, 10 streaks. Well, thank you very much, Oblivion. Appreciate you coming and hanging out. All right. Let's see. This exercise explores the cow smart pointer. It can enclose and provide immutable access to borrowed data and clone the data lazily when mutation or ownership is required. The type is designed to work with general borrowed data via the borrow trait. I think... Have you learned about borrow trait yet? I don't think so. Are we going to learn about that now? Yeah. Maybe borrow trait? Huh. So which section of the book does this refer to? Cow, here we go. Cow documentation. Let's see. A type cal is a smart pointer providing clone on write functionality. It can enclose and provide immutable access to borrowed data. Yeah. Cal implements deref, which means that you can call non-mutating methods directly on the data it encloses. If mutation is desired, mut will obtain a mutable reference to an own value. If you need reference counting pointers, no RC make mut and arc make mut can provide clone on write functionality as well. Okay. All right, let's see if we can just stumble our way through here. It's interesting that they introduce things that it doesn't seem like are covered in the book. Okay, so clones into a vec if not already owned. Okay. Clone occurs because input needs to be mutated. Okay, no clone occurs because input needs to be mutated. To do, replace to do with cal owned or cal borrowed. I don't know, honestly. Yeah, I honestly don't know. I don't really know what this is trying to communicate to me. Yeah, I don't know. So I'm just going to guess. Syntax error. Mismatch closing delimiter. Oh. Replace to do with cal owned or cal. I don't know how to tell if something is cal borrowed. We can also pass vec without ampersand, so cal owns it directly. In this mutation occurs all numbers. Okay, so I guess this is cal owned. Of course, this is also the case if mutation does occur. Not all numbers are absolute. In this case, the call to mut in the absolute all function returns a reference to the same data as before. Okay, so I guess cal borrow. I don't know. I think this exercise is kind of weird. I don't really know what they're trying to. I mean, I guess they want me to know that cal exists and that cal is a type, but I'm not sure. Okay, cal mutation, reference, no mutation. So I guess this should be borrowed. And this should be owned. I might have to ask Gemini about this one. Yeah, I don't know what this is telling me. Let's see, print line. I do not know what is going on. We're gonna see what Gemini thinks of this exercise. This is my one knock against Rustlings, is I don't think Rustlings, all of Rustlings, is particularly laid out well, in my opinion. In terms of how it introduces information. Let's see. I'm working through Rustlings to learn about Rust. I got to this exercise on Cal. I've got no idea really what I'm supposed to take away from the exercise. Can you take a look at it and give me an overview of what is it trying to teach me? It's very much, here's a topic, figure it out. Yeah, it's exactly that. And which to me, then what's the point of doing Rustlings? Like, that's what you do when you build a project. You know, but like, I don't know, that's just my opinion. Also, don't forget to look at hint in Rustlings and look at the README in the folder. I mean, I looked at the README. I mean, that's kind of like, again, that's like my knock. So here's your exercise. They give you a cow exercise. You go to the README. All they do is they point you to the official Rust documentation for the cow type. Right? It's like, here's the docs. Go read the docs. Right? It's like, okay, great. I don't know what you want from me. I've already read all these. Like, I've read all of these pieces of documentation. That's what I did the last 2 streams. Cow is not discussed in any of these documents or any of these chapters or sections of the book. All right, let's see what Gemini says. The smart pointer is one of Rust's most elegant tools for performance optimization. This exercise is designed to show you how to handle data efficiently when you aren't sure if you'll actually need to change it. Okay, the magic of cow happens in the absolute all function. Notice how it takes ampersand or reference, a mutable reference to cal32. When the function starts, input might be holding a reference to a slice or an actual vec. The key takeaway is the behavior of the toMut method. If the data is borrowed, calling .toMut will clone the data into a new vec and change the cal state to owned. If the data is already owned, calling toMut simply gives you a mutable reference to that existing data. No cloning happens. Why use this? Imagine you have a giant list of 1 million numbers. Most of the time they are already positive. Without cal, you might clone the whole list every time just in case you need to change one negative number. That is slow and uses a lot of memory. With cal, you only pay the cost of cloning if you actually find a negative number and need to flip its sign. If the data is already perfect, you just read from the original reference and exit. Oh, okay. The goal of the exercise is to help you recognize that cal allows a function to be lazy. It avoids allocation and cloning until the very last second, the moment you try to write /mutate. This makes your code highly flexible because it can accept both references and own values seamlessly. Would you like me to explain how the borrow trait relates to how cal handles different types like string and str? No, that's okay. Okay, so then let's go back to that code real quick, just so I can look at it. So this takes a mutable reference to the list, to a list of numbers. And then we're getting each number in the input, and then we're checking to see if the value is less than 0. And if it is less than 0, then we're basically flipping it. Okay. Interesting. What does this return? Nothing. It doesn't return anything. Huh. Okay. Well, I mean, I'm glad I know that. I'm glad that there's a way to solve that problem. I've never had that problem, so I wouldn't really care, I think, terribly much about it. But all right, let's do threads now. Move all the to-dos. Okay, here we go. The dining philosophers example using threads to run code simultaneously. I've read both of these sections. I have not read this one, I don't think. Let's see what this is about. Dining philosophers. Also, why is this not in dark mode? I guess Rust was again and again shown to assume the person reading knows Perl, Lua, low-level C, and plenty more. Oh yeah, that could be it. I mean, I could just be the wrong audience. It's unfortunately another example of something assumed to the reader. Cow is a comp sci term to say copy on write. Oh, okay, that makes sense. That's what I like about wrestling is it gets you to do pull learning while being formatted like push learning in your words. Yeah, I mean it is, but like it's also not really like I don't know. That's not why I would come to something like this. I would just go build stuff and figure it out as I go. But I get it. Not everybody has ideas for projects, so they sort of need to be prompted with examples of code to figure it out. All right, so for our second project, let's look at a classic concurrency problem. It's called the dining. God, this is blinding me. I'm like having to like, oh my gosh, ah. But we'll use a lightly adapted version from this paper by Tony Hoare. Tony Hoare, man, this guy right here. Every time we do a null check, it's this guy. Well, respect for pushing through. I know I was the first to recommend it. Wouldn't expect you to keep going if you don't want to. Oh no, man, we gotta go. We're gonna finish. We gotta finish. We start something, we gotta finish it. We'll use the lightly. Okay, so in ancient times, a wealthy philanthropist endowed a college to accommodate 5 eminent philosophers. Each philosopher had a room in which they could engage in their professional activity of thinking. There was also a common dining room furnished with a circular table surrounded by 5 chairs, each labeled by the name of the philosopher who was to sit in it. They sat anti-clockwise around the table. To the left of each philosopher there was laid a golden fork, and in the center stood a large bowl of spaghetti, which was constantly replenished. A philosopher was expected to spend most of their time thinking, but when they felt hungry, they went to the dining room, sat in their own chair, picked up their own fork on their left, and plunged it into the spaghetti. But such is the tangled nature of spaghetti that a second fork is required to carry it to the mouth. The philosopher therefore also had to pick up the fork on their right. When they were finished, they would put down both their forks, get up from their chair, and continue thinking. Of course, a fork can be used by only one philosopher at a time. If the other philosopher wants it, they just have to wait until the fork is available again. What? Okay. What is this thing that I don't understand? Why did we need to create this convoluted story? I don't understand. This classic problem shows off a few different elements of concurrency. The reason is that it's actually slightly tricky to implement. A simple implementation can deadlock. For example, let's consider a simple algorithm that would solve this problem. A philosopher picks up the fork on their left. They then pick up the fork on their right. They eat. They return the forks. Now let's imagine this sequence of events. Philosopher 1 begins the algorithm, picking up the fork on their left. Philosopher 2 begins the algorithm, picking up the fork on their left. Yeah. Philosopher 5 begins the problem, picking up the fork on their left. All the forks are taken. Nobody can eat. There are different ways to solve this problem. We'll get to our solution in the tutorial itself. For now, let's get started modeling the problem itself. We'll start with the philosopher. Okay. All right, here we have a struct. Yep, we choose the string type for the name rather than ampersand stir. Generally speaking, working with a type which owns its data is easier than working with one that uses references. Okay, good deal. The impl block lets us define things on philosopher structs. In this case, we define an associated function called new. The first line looks like this. All right, we take one argument. Yep, and we return a new philosopher struct. This creates a new philosopher, sets its name to our name argument, not just the argument itself, though, as we call .toString on it. This will create a copy of the string that our string slice points to, and give us a new string, which is the type of the name field of philosopher. Okay, we already know about this. Why not accept a string? One last thing you'll notice, we just define a philosopher and seemingly do anything with it. Rust is an expression-based language, which means that almost everything in Rust is an expression which returns a value. This is true of functions as well. The last expression is automatically returned. KKK. Yes. Okay, some of this is illustrating like very basic Rust syntax, but that's okay. That's all right. Sometimes it's good to have repetition. Kurt Kennedy, great read there. Yeah. I'm not exactly sure why they felt they needed to contrive such a convoluted story to illustrate the fact that, like, if someone needs 2 forks and there's only 5 forks and 5 people are all eating simultaneously, like, I'm not sure why that was the choice they picked, but you know, computer science folk are kind of weird folks. So aerobic. Why does LeetCode not have Rust? I actually don't know. I actually did not know that Rust wasn't on LeetCode until you said that. So I don't know. Maybe popularity, maybe a technical reason. I don't know. Oblivion. Wait, what? I do Rust on LeetCode. Oh, maybe it does have Rust. I don't know. I don't really do LeetCode, so I don't know. Okay. Excuse me. As a tidy step, let's make a method and then loop through all the philosophers calling it. Okay. Rather than have 5, yep, let's create a struct. Okay, in Rust, methods take in an explicit self parameter. That's why eat is a method, but new is an associated function. For our first version eat, we just print out the name. Okay, next we want to make our philosophers not just finish eating, but actually eat. Here's the next version. So we do eat, we wait a second, and then we stop. Okay. Just a few things changes. Let's break it down. Use brings names into scope. We're going to start using the thread module. Great. We now print 2 messages with sleep. Okay. Now what do we do? All right. So what are we doing? Excellent. Now to make our philosophers eat concurrently, we need to make a small change. Here's the next iteration. We do thread spawn. Okay. All we've done is change the loop in main and added a second one. Here's the first change. Yep. We get all the handles. We'll introduce a new binding called handles. We've given it this name because we are going to make some new threads. Yep. So we're basically spinning up a bunch of threads that all call philosopher.eat. Yep. And then we wait for all the threads to finish. Let's see. If you run this program, you'll see that the philosophers eat out of order. We have multi-threading. But what about the forks? We haven't modeled them all yet. To do that, let's make a new struct, forks, which is a vector of mutex. This table has a vector of mutexes. A mutex is a way to control concurrency. Only one thread can access the contents at once. This is exactly the property we need within our forks. We use an empty tuple inside the mutex since we're not actually going to use the value, just hold on to it. Okay. So we have philosophers. They have a left and a right. When they eat, they pick up a left by accessing the table and selecting a fork, self.right, or self.left, self.right. And then they try to eat. And then, of course, they go out of scope. And then they get released. Okay. And then he just has these hard coded. So philosopher 1 is going to try to pick up fork 1 and fork 2. Philosopher 2 is going to try to pick up the first fork and the second fork. So these two are contending for one fork. These two are contending for another fork. These two are contending for another fork, right? And then this one, the last philosopher and the first philosopher are also contending for a fork together. Yep. So however, with this iteration, we've got a working program. Let's go over the details. Yep. We're going to use another structure from the standard sync package arc. We'll talk more about it when we use it. We need to add 2 more fields to our philosopher. Yep. Left and right. Okay. We now need to construct those left and right values. So we add them to new. Yeah. Yep. Let's see. The call to lock might fail, and if it does, we want to crash. In this case, the error that could happen is that the mutex is poisoned, which is what happens when the thread panics while the lock is held. Since this shouldn't happen, we just use unwrap. One other odd thing about these lines, we've named results left and right. What's up with the underscore? Well, we aren't planning on using the value inside the lock. We just want to acquire it. As such, Rust will warn us that we never use the value by using the underscore. We tell Rust that this is what we intended, and it won't throw a warning. Let's see, what about releasing the locks? Well, that will happen when left and right go out of scope automatically. Yes, that's the magic of the mutex. Next in main, we make a new table and wrap it in an arc. Arc stands for atomic reference count. And we need that to share our table across multiple threads. As we share it, the reference count will go up. When each thread ends, it will go back down. Wonderful, wonderful. I didn't see the arc in the code snippet. Oh, up here. Yep, okay. Let's see. We're all getting to the end of this. Okay, we need to pass in our left and right values to the constructors, but there's one more detail here, and it's very important. If you look at the pattern, it's all consistent until the very end. Monsieur should have 4 0 as arguments, but instead has 0 4. This is what prevents deadlocks, actually. One of our philosophers is left-handed. This is one way to solve the problem. In my opinion, it's the simplest. Okay.
Did we just become best friends?
Killer Snake, thanks for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate this. Blackfire, LL, finally on Arc. Yes, we got to Arc. This is a long book. Yeah, the Rust programming language is a very large book. And I haven't read it all word for word. I've just read sections that I thought were very important to read. But there's 21 chapters, culminating in building a web server. So yeah, it's an extensive resource. I doubt very few people actually read the whole thing, if I had to guess. This is some separate thing. This is like some appendix or something book, or maybe an older version of the book, maybe. I'm not sure exactly. Let's see. Only 2 philosophers can eat at any one time, so we'll get some output like this. Congrats, you've implemented classic concurrency problem in Rust. Oh, that's all that wanted to do was just walk me through implementing that? Okay. That's interesting. Let's see. Threads 1. Okay. This program spawns multiple threads that each runs for at least 250 milliseconds, and each thread returns how much it took to complete. how much time it took to complete. The program should wait until all the spawn threads have finished and should collect their return values into a vector. Okay. So we have, we already have our handles here. And we have our results there. So what we want to do is we want to say let result equals handle.join. And join returns a result. And so we should probably match, right? That's the best. That would be the best practice. I think we could just do unwrap, but let's just say we're going to do that. And we'll do print. What is it? Print E or E print? Yeah, print. And we'll pass an E here. Otherwise, we will take the result and we will say results.push R like that. Okay, what are you complaining about? Format argument must be, oh, yeah. I guess we could do this, can't we? So you want this? See, send doesn't implement format display. This is a box dynamic any plus send. I don't know how to get the let's see. How do I print? I don't know how to do this. Let's see. I'm dealing with a handle returned from spawning a thread in Rust. The result of calling join on that handle has a success and an error case. How do I just print the error for the result? Since the error is in any type, you cannot print it directly in a normal string. You first have to attempt to downcast it to a type that implements debug or display. See, to print the error safely, you can use a match or if let to message the error variant and then try to cast the panic message. Okay, I'll just be honest, that's uglier than shit. That's just so ugly. Yeah, that's ugly. So you have to do something like this. You have to say like match e dot downcast. What was it? Downcast ref is what Gemini said. Downcast ref, and then you have to declare the type that you're going to try to downcast it to, and then you have to declare this again, and then you have to say this is going to complain because it doesn't know what type you want, so you have to say stir. Okay, and then if it is a string, then I guess you print this. I'm sorry, I'm being so critical this morning of Rust, but what's it say? It says this let binding has unit value. Because I'm trying to capture the return value too. Okay, never mind. We're just gonna do the thing you're not supposed to do. We're just going to do handle.join .unwrap. I thought I would try to do the right thing and handle the non-success case, but that way lies madness. Okay, let's see if that worked. Yeah, it worked. Cool. Easy peasy. Good morning, Kurtz. Good morning, crew. Good to see you. Appreciate you guys stopping by, hanging out. We're just doing a little bit of Rust. We're trying to finish up Rustlings. We have like a few more to go. We're going to try to speed run these a bit, though. Okay. You must take an action before... Hold on. Building on the last exercise, we want all the thread to complete their work, but this time the spawn threads need to be in charge of updating a shared value. Job status.done. Okay. Today, arc isn't enough if you want a mutable shared state. Okay. You must take an action before you update a shared value. Push the handles, wait for all the jobs to be done, print the value of job status done. Okay, why can't you just job? Why can't you just do job status? Huh. Okay. Oh no, status. Status dot jobs done. Okay. Waiting for all jobs to be done. Cool, cool, cool. So this says arc isn't enough. Okay. What does the compiler say about this? The compiler says cannot assign to data in an arc. Trait deref_muth is required to modify through a dereference, but it is not implemented for arc. Okay. So is there another type we should use? I guess going back to all of our Rust reading. Let's see. We want to shared state with concurrency. Is that what we want? I don't think that's what we want. Is this where I guess we use Mutex? Okay. I guess I'll try to use Mutex. Well, is there something else? Because it doesn't seem like that's the right thing. Let's see. What to use instead of arc? when needing to mutate data across threads in Rust. You should wrap your data in a concurrency primitive that manages the mutation and then share that wrapper using Arc. Okay, so we should use a mutex. So what we have to do, mutex that. Okay, and then before we do that, we have to do lock.unwrap like that. Okay, and then same thing here. We need to do lock.unwrap jobs to be done. Heck yeah, we did it. Look at us, just throwing mutexes around. Take that, concurrency. I'm gonna shower, eat for. Yeah, see you, man. Have a good day. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate you saying hi. Good morning, Cyberlanka. Carlos, hello, Carlos. Good to see you. Oblivion Arc Mutex. Ah, you already knew it before I knew it. Hellbending. Huzzah! We can contribute to chat now. Let's go. Well, thanks for hanging out and waiting. Carlos, sup, man? Mutex. Oh, okay, cool. Good to know. Everybody knows the answer besides me. Always wasted. Hey, man, a simple answer is fine, but do you have any idea how to make coding not feel like a chore? I want to find it fun to do in my free time after school. I don't have a good. I don't have a good. I do not have a good answer, honestly. Maybe I don't I don't want to discourage you, right? But like maybe that's a sign that maybe coding isn't your jam, or maybe it's a sign that you haven't tried the right type of programming. Like I don't know what you're trying to do, like, but maybe web development isn't your thing, or maybe embedded systems isn't your, you know what I mean? Maybe whatever the thing that you're doing isn't like your type of music, and maybe you need to go try some other stuff, right? Try different languages, try different programming domains, right? Switch it up. But for me, I think I just get a lot of joy from problem solving with code. So I don't have good advice. I don't have any like mind tricks or Jedi mind tricks to perform on yourself to make it fun, you know? Look up the farmer was replaced. Oh boy, what is this? Is it a philosopher thing? The farmer was replaced. Let's see. The farmer was replaced. Program to optimize a drone to automate a farm and watch it do the work for you. That's cool. Wow, it has a 95% positive rating on Steam. Nice. Let's see. The Farmer was replaced as an educational programming game where players learn Python through farm automation. Oh, yeah. So maybe this is a good one for you, Always Wasted. Maybe that would be a good game for you to try. Interesting. Replacing a farmer so that you can learn the programming to have fun. My nose is itchy. I've had friends say they enjoyed learning through it. Nice. Okay, that's a good recommendation. Hellbending. I've been writing Rust for like 2.5 years now. If you need help from chat, I'm down to coach/teach. I contribute to newbie learning and performance consultation in the Rust Discord. Oh, that's very cool. That's super nice of you. But yeah, if you see me struggling and have any input, please jump in. I'm trying to end my Rust side quest very soon. This was like a 30-day side quest, and then I don't know if I'll ever touch Rust again. But it's been good. It's been an enjoyable experience. I'm ready to return to the Shire, though, as they say. I'm ready to go back to C# and .NET. Kurtz, or find a project that solves a daily problem, and work on that. Stealing Steven's advice. Yeah, it's so much more fun to solve problems, like tangible things that you understand, and it's more fun to have something at the end of all the work that actually you benefit from. Yeah, totally agree. See how bending the language is hard at the start. Once it clicks, though, it really is a genuinely easy language to a great degree. Well, that's good to know. Yeah, that's good to know. I've not disliked it. Like that's, and I don't want anyone to think that I haven't enjoyed Rust, because I have. I spent all of November learning Go. Then we spent all of December grinding out Advent of Code in Go. And then we spent basically all of January learning Rust. And I'm ready to just sit down and just like build some shit for a little while, and not just be in a perpetual state of like learning a new language. So I'm less burnt out on Rust and more just burnt out on reading documentation and and learning about arbitrary, obscure things out of context, right? So I'm just ready to go back to building some software for a bit. Let's see, we want to send TX to both threads, but currently it is moved into the first thread. How could you solve this problem? Okay. Let's see. The way the book explains the core things like borrowing and lifetime isn't great. That's funny. You're like, so the official resource of our language isn't super wonderful at the most important concepts. Oh, I forgot to mention myself and a couple mates wrote a Rust Bible, a meme swapping and Rustisms on the actual Bible. That sounds like fun. Yeah, that sounds like fun. You should link that. If you want to join our Discord and just link it, that would be fun. You don't have to stay in the Discord. You can just join, link it, or you can paste it in chat. You might just have to like do some hackiness so that YouTube doesn't block your link. Sounds like fun though. I won't ban hammer you. I'm okay with you putting in chat. It's just YouTube is the one that usually will block links from being sent. I think what I would do to solve this is I would clone the transmitter. Is what I would do. So I would do TX1. Oops. Okay, I guess that's not a valid thing, huh? Unexpected. Oh, whoops. Or is that not allowed? I don't know if that's what they were wanting. Is that what they were wanting? I think that's what they were wanting. Print line. I think this is what they were after. Oh, I guess we can check the solution. Can't we? I keep forgetting that. What one was that? Threads 3? Threads 3 here? Yeah, clone the sender. Okay, so we were doing the right thing there. All right, now we're getting into macros. Do we read or not to read? I'm kind of tired of reading, to just be honest with you. So let's see if we can grok what's going on here. Okay, macro rules, my macro. Check out my macro. So this is important, I'm guessing. This is like some sort of keyword or something. Okay, we actually probably should read. We're not going to get away from it. Let's just do it. Ooh, there's a Rust by examples. That's kind of cool. The Little Book of Rust Macros. Now let's read the official thing. What time is it? 5:30? Okay, I'm going to get more coffee. Yeah, I'm going to get more coffee. I don't have to go to the office today, so that's good. I honestly can't believe that I used to commute to the office every single day. It's actually very daunting. Macros are like C's preprocessors in a way, but with better semantics and a little less parens. I've never written any C before hellbending, so I don't that analog means nothing to me. Let's see, macros get glossed over in rustlings. It's a huge part of Rust and is twice more content as rustlings just for itself. If what I wrote made any sense. C preprocessors are so cool, but ugly. Yeah, I don't know. Preprocessors sound interesting. I don't know. I don't know anything about C though. All right, I'm gonna get coffee and then I'll be right back. It sounds like Oblivion. You and Hellbending could actually. I know you guys. One of you's on Twitch and one of you's on YouTube, but it sounds like you guys could talk shop for days about these low-level programming languages. Me, I'm just a C# boy. You know, I'm just one of them garbage collected fellas. I'll be right back. Alright, we're back. Good morning, Danny. Good morning, Ryan. Good morning, sweet car. Hello, hello. Good to see you guys. Alright, we're back. More Rust, more reading. We're learning about macros. Here we go. Let's see, we've used macros like printline throughout this book, but we haven't fully explored what a macro is and how it works. The term macro refers to a family of features in Rust, declarative macros with macro rules, and three kinds of procedural macros. Custom, derived macros that specify code added with the derived attribute based on structs and enums. Attribute-like macros that define custom attributes usable on any item. Function-like macros that look like function calls but operate on the token specified as their argument. We'll talk about each of these in turn, but first let's look at why we even need macros when we already have functions. Fundamentally, macros are a way of writing code that writes other code, which is known as metaprogramming. In Appendix C, we discuss the derived attribute, which generates an implementation of various traits for you. We've also used the printline and vec macros throughout the book. All these macros expand to produce more code than the code you've written manually. Metaprogramming is useful for reducing the amount of code you have to write and maintain, which is also one of the rules of functions. However, macros have some additional powers that functions don't have. A function signature must declare the number and type of parameters the function has. Macros, on the other hand, can take a variable number of parameters. We can call printline with one argument or printline hello name with two arguments. Also, macros are expanded before the compiler interprets the meaning of the code. So a macro can, for example, implement a trait on a given type. A function can't because it gets called at runtime, and a trait needs to be implemented at compile time. The downside to implementing a macro instead of a function is that macro definitions are more complex than function definitions because you're writing Rust code that writes Rust code. Due to this indirection, macro definitions are generally more difficult to read, understand, and maintain than function definitions. Another important difference between macros and functions is that you must define macros or bring them into scope before you call them in a file. As opposed to functions, you can define anywhere and call anywhere. Declarative macros for general metaprogramming. The most widely used form of macros in Rust is the declarative macro. These are also sometimes referred to as macros by example. Macro rules macros, or just plain macros. At their core, declarative macros allow you to write something similar to a Rust match expression, as discussed in Chapter 6. Match expressions are control structures that take an expression, compare the resultant value of the expression to patterns, and then run the code associated with the matching pattern. Macros also compare a value to patterns that are associated with a particular code. In this situation, the value is the literal Rust source code passed to the macro. The patterns are declared with the structure of that source code and the code associated with each pattern. When matched, each pattern, when matched, replaces the code passed to the macro. This all happens during compilation. To define a macro, you use the macro rules construct. Let's explore how to use macro rules by looking at how the vec macro is defined. For example, the following macro creates a new vector containing three integers. We could also use We could also use the vec macro to make a vector of 2 integers or a vector of 5 string slices. We wouldn't be able to use a function to do the same because we wouldn't know the number or type of values up front. Okay, so here is slightly simplified definition of the vec macro. Yeah, I mean if anybody says that's readable code, I will question you. Very seriously. Danny, am on structs lesson via Learn Go with Test, and man, I'm loving it. Oh, dude, that's great to hear. I'm glad. Yeah, I really, really like that. I really, really like that resource. Like, thank you. I think the guy who wrote it, his name's Chris James. Yeah, just super, super appreciative of him for putting that resource together. Rust seems to borrow a lot from Lisp. Really interesting. Yeah, I will take your word for it.
I'd like to say something.
Udim, I can read that in my sleep, totally.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know. Hellbending macros let us enforce type safety at compile time, but allow for variadic arguments similar to a spread op in JavaScript, for instance. Yeah, I mean, I totally see the value in it. You know, like we have the source generation API in C#, so I totally see the value in being able to write code that writes other code. But God, that's not readable. Watch me pull some Python lists and dictionary comprehensions and shame this macro's illegibility. Yeah, some. I think the problem with a lot of Python list comprehension is just sometimes the line is too long. Like there's just too much happening on a single line of code. Justin Martinez, morning, Steven. Hope you're having a better one than me. Keep you the grind. Oh yeah, it's not readable at all. Yeah, it's not readable at all. That's Ryan. That's literally all I do every day. Write code that writes more code. Nice. That's pretty sweet. I'm having a good one. So I guess Justin, you're not having a good one. So I hope your days get better. I'm sorry you're not having the best of times. All right, the macro export annotation indicates that this macro should be made available whenever the crate in which the macro is defined is brought into scope. Okay. Without this annotation, the macro can't be brought into scope. We then start the macro definition with macro rules and the name of the macro we're defining without the exclamation mark. The name in this case is vec, is allowed by curly brackets, followed by curly brackets denoting the body of the macro definition. See, the structure in the vec body is similar to the structure of a match expression. Here, we have one arm with the pattern parens, $parens, $x, x, expr, parens, comma, star, parens. Let's see, and the block of code associated with this pattern. If the pattern matches, the associated block of code will be omitted. Given that this is the only pattern in this macro, there's only one valid way to match. Any other pattern will result in an error. More complex macros will have more than one arm. Valid pattern syntax in macro definitions is different from the pattern syntax covered in Chapter 19 because macro patterns are matched against Rust code structure rather than values. Let's walk through what the pattern pieces in listing 2029 mean. For the full macro pattern syntax, see the Rust reference. Oh, I have to see this. I have to see the full pattern. Okay. Let's see. This is hard to read. Show syntax diagrams. Macro rules definition. Macro rules identifier. Macro rules def. This is a macro rule def. Oh my goodness. I bet there are people that just love to go down this rabbit hole. Okay, so this is how you identify fragments. So that's what this is over here. This is matching a fragment. Yeah, this is a rabbit hole. This is definitely a rabbit hole. Good morning, Uncle Pee-wee. Good to see you. That reference thing is a literal DSL stuff. Yeah, that's quite a rabbit hole. Bob Miller, you're doing macros now? Yeah, that's the next section of the rustlings. So we have macros, Clippy, and conversions. Those are the three topics we have left in rustlings, and then we're gonna call Rust good. Well, I'm gonna publish my Notepad app, but I don't think I'm gonna do that on stream. I don't think I'm really gonna care about doing that on stream, but I'll still work on the Notepad app, but we're gonna call our Rust adventure done. Once we get through all that. See, given that this is the only pattern in this macro, okay, hold on. First, we use a set of parens to encompass the whole pattern. We use a $sign to declare a variable in the macro system that will contain the Rust code matching the pattern. The $sign makes it clear this is a macro variable as opposed to a regular Rust variable. Next comes a set of parentheses that captures values that match the pattern within the parentheses for use in the replacement code. Okay, within $parens is parens x expression, which matches any Rust expression and gives the expression the name $x. Okay, the comma following $, open parens, close parens, indicates that a literal comma separator character must appear between each instance of the code that matches the code inside the parens. The star specifies that the pattern matches 0 or more of whatever precedes the star. When we call this macro, the $x pattern matches 3 times with the 3 expressions, 1, 2, 3, okay. Now let's look at the pattern in the body of the code associated with this arm. Tempvec.push. Within $, paren star is generated for each part that matches it in the pattern 0 or more times, depending on how many times the pattern matches. The $x is replaced with each expression matched. Then we call this macro with this. The code generated that replaces this macro call will be the following. Okay, we've defined a macro that can take any number of arguments of any type and can generate code to create a vector containing the specified elements. To learn more about how to write macros, consult the online documentation or other resources such as the Little Book of Rust Macros, started by Daniel Keep and continued by Lucas Wirth. Nice. Okay. Let's see if we can take care of this first exercise then. Let's see, fix the macro call. Okay, I can fix this. Boom. I think I fixed it. Look at me. I'm just over here writing macros. Lisp adventure next? Hell no, man. Hell no. That that language looks cursed. I'm really happy that you enjoy writing it, but the snippets of code that I've seen, I don't know how anybody figures out where something starts and ends with all those parentheses floating around.
Did we just become best friends?
Paladine followed. Thank you for following the channel. Appreciate you. Let's see. I dead set tell anyone that hasn't spent like 6 months with the language to straight skip this section. Really? Fair enough. I've written like 1 or 2 macros ever in Rust. Yeah, it seems like probably something that library authors use quite a bit, but I can't imagine if you're like an app level dev that you probably write a ton of macros. Mostly just a pain in the ass to be debug. Nice. Learning Lisp by reading SICP is worth it, in my opinion. What is SICP? I've honestly never gotten the whole appeal of Lisp, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, Ryan loves it. I mean, some people, I think that's any programming language. Any programming language, it clicks for some people and doesn't click for others. Like a lot of people love Python, and it just doesn't speak to me the same way like TypeScript does. And I think that's okay. Like it's good for there to be different people with different preferences, right? Yeah, I think that's a good thing. So you fix the compiler error by moving the whole definition of this macro. What? So you're basically wanting me to do this? Is that what you're wanting me to do? Okay. Let's Was that what you wanted? Cannot find macro in this scope. You macro used on the module or hold on, what exercise is that? Oh, 3. Okay. Okay, so you do 3. Fix the compiler error without taking the macro definition out of this module. So this is where we must do some sort of attribute definition. Oh, this is the web server project. So how do we, let's see, macro use in module attributes. I guess the compiler error tells us, doesn't it? No, it doesn't.
What is that little red character?
What? Good morning, honey. I changed your text-to-speech voice and it startled me. Yeah. Good to see you too, Stephen Jailborn. Structure and implementation of computer programs, classic programming book. Okay, I've never heard of that. Structure and implementation of computer programs. Ooh, is it old? Oh, here we go. I think this is the one you're talking about, right? I guess it's just free. Yeah, it's on MIT's website. Yeah, CI. Here we go.
When you were scrolling, there is a little red guy.
Was there really? I wonder if it was. Oh, are you talking about the crab, honey? Yeah, I think you're talking about this guy, right? Oh no, here it goes.
What is that little red thingy?
You're talking about this guy, honey. Yeah, this is Ferris the crab. This is like it's the programming language's mascot. Hello, Eduardo. Sorry, only Kelsey has the TTS command. Kelsey's my wife, so that she's the only one that gets just she gets like free run of the text to speech. Everyone else has to either redeem channel points or send super chats or bits. Dude, you broke the super chat. What is happening? He is cute, isn't he? He's a very cute little language mascot. Yeah, it's like the Linux penguin, 100%. Okay, the text-to-speech is permanently busted. I don't know how to stop it. It's just stuck. I don't know what to do. We just have to wait.
Did we just become best friends?
He's so cute.
Bigger knee, thanks for following the channel.
I'd like to say something.
Puppies are cute.
Puppies are cute. And Kelsey, I agree. Ferris is a cute mascot. I would like C# to have an adorable mascot like that. This is why we can't have nice things. Yeah, that's why only Kelsey gets text-to-speech, because text-to-speech brings out the child in all of us. Good times, good times. All right. I need to figure out how to Have you added the macro? There we go. That's what I want. Macro use. Did I put that there? Where did I put this? Did I put it up here? I think that worked. Nice. Okay. So that's how you expose it outside a module. Okay. Fix the compiler error by adding 1 or 2 characters. $val. Alright, so let's go back to the book's definition of a macro and see if we can figure out how to fix it. Did you finish your donation page? Sorry, I've been occupied to watch the stream. Oh yeah, I have. Yeah. Yeah, Steven. Yeah, yeah, someone made a Steven Jailborn account, I think, to troll me a little bit. Let's see. C# mascot is just link calls for 80 lines. That's fair. That's fair. People love their link in C#. That's 100% fair. But we need ourselves a Ferris-like mascot. Eduardo, I did finish the donation page, and it is live. If anybody wants to see it, it's at Grounds for Support. And the only person that's really ever used it is Bob. Because you can use it to do custom text-to-speech. So if you ever want to send a text-to-speech message, but you don't want to use Super Chat or don't want to use bits on Twitch or Super Chat on YouTube, you can actually use this website to do text-to-speech.
Dubstep be like.
Thank you, Bob, very much, man. Thank you for demoing the Grounds for Support site. That was good timing. But the current project, so there really isn't a current project right now, Eduardo. We've been learning Rust, and so I guess the closest thing to a project in the Rust world has been we built a Notepad application using Rust and a library in Rust.
I'd like to say something.
Hasta mañana.
See you, Maddie. Yeah. And so you can do this now. So I have a little application that I wrote in Rust that allows me to edit notes, which is pretty cool. Like you can do all your basic note operations in here. Let's see. Let's save this new file, and we'll say test.md. We'll save that, and so now this will work as Markdown. So we can say, "Good morning, chat." Make this a little bigger. We can preview this Markdown. What else can we do? We can create new files with new tabs. We can close the tabs. Yeah, so this was the project, I guess, that went along with our Rust learnings. I've still got a little bit more work to do. Like I'd like to be able to toggle word wrap. Yeah, some basic stuff. I'd like to be able to support multiple windows. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And the library we used to do this was called Iced. Iced was the library we used. Next, Notepad++ competitor for real. Yeah, the visuals are looking way better. Yeah, I spent some time on the styling. The styling has taken me actually a little bit of time just kind of figuring out how the library works. But yeah, it's been good. It's been a lot of fun. It's been good times. All right, so I think what I need to do is to fix this one is I think I need to do something like this. So I'm going to do $. This. Nope. That's not it. Should there be a comma here? No. I don't know. I don't know how to fix this. Fix the compiler error by adding 1 or 2 characters. Okay, 1 or 2. So maybe it's as simple as this. I don't know. Let's see, hint. Okay. You only need to add a single character to make this compile. The way macros are written, it wants to see something between each macro arm so it can separate them. That's all the macro exercise we have in here, but it's barely even scratching. Oh, it's telling me right here. It would help if I read the compiler errors. So it wants this. It would help if I read. Nice. And that's all we're going to learn about macros. Ain't nobody got time for that. Reading. He barely uses unwrap from what I recall. Let's see. I got a request for your code base. Can you run an rg-i unwrap over your code base? Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. I think I use clone way too much. I don't know if I use unwrap too much. Let's see. rg-i unwrap. Let's see. It looks like I use it in state. And looks like I use it in editor.rs and file.rs. I use it in or I guess I don't use unwrap. I guess I use unwrap or to set default values for stuff. That's currently what I use it for. I'm scared of unwrap because I understand that unwrap brought down.
I don't know how to do something. I will not use the reading that will help me.
Okay, first off, I love the message, and then Kelsey, I love the fact that the voice sounded like they were like proclaiming that to the world. You know what I mean? See, oh damn, nice. That's really good to see from someone semi-new to Rust. Big props. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I mean the idea of results aren't new to me. I mean, coming from I spent not 60 days learning Go essentially, right? Which has the idea of treating errors as first-class citizens. And then in C# I've implemented the results pattern probably half a dozen times at this point, and I really like using results patterns for business logic. I think that a lot of times results make more sense when we're talking business logic. So the idea of having to deal with failures, successes, and failures, yeah, I think that's not new to me, And then also Cloudflare is unwrap heard around the world, right? Has scarred everyone for life. Nobody will ever come to Rust and not know that unwrap took down the internet. Exception languages hurt my brain now. Yeah, I don't know. I like having the ability to have both. Like what I want C# to have a dedicated discriminated union type, which apparently we're supposed to get either in C# 15 or hopefully in C# 15. We were supposed to get it in C# 14. It didn't land. So maybe this coming November we will get it. But I like the ability to do both. I like the ability to use exceptions for control flow in deep call stacks. I like the ability to just say like, okay, here's a global exception handler at the top of my application, and if some third party piece of code that I have no idea about generates an exception, we just catch it at the very top and don't crash, and we display something to the user. But when it comes to business logic, a lot of the times we expect things to not go wrong, and we know what to do when things don't go wrong. So then modeling it with a results pattern makes a lot of sense. So I like having the flexibility to do both myself. Uncle PB, why is today not Friday? I don't know. It's been a long week for me too. I've been in the office for 2 full 8-hour days the last 2 weeks, or the last 2 days. And the only thing I can think to myself is I can't believe that I used to do this every single day of my life. I realized it made me realize how spoiled I am, as somebody who gets to work from home. I don't have to do a 30-minute commute. I don't have to sit in meetings in, brightly lit rooms. Let's see. Okay, we're talking about Clippy now. The Clippy tool is a collection of lints to analyze your code so you can catch common mistakes and improve your Rust code. For these exercises, let's see, can you talk about like a reason for exception handling to control flow being okay? I've always tried my hardest, even in those lengths, to do best effort recovery. I think exceptions for control flow are nice when you're dealing with like deeply nested call stacks, right? Like I find dealing with results at every layer of the call stack kind of noisy. Like that's how I felt about Go. Like I just feel like I end up with a lot of noisy code of like, if error not nil, right? Or if result is success, right? And so sometimes I just don't care. Like sometimes I want to say like, if something goes really wrong, just propagate to the top of the call stack and return an error response. Like I don't need to just make a decision on every single failure case. That's the way I look at it. I'm not necessarily saying it's okay. I'm just saying that's from my personal like developer life. Sometimes when I make a call to entity framework, I don't care. Like if it throws, okay, don't crash my program. I'll just return an error to the user, right? Like I just not going to worry about it. Artwork shoes. I can't say much. Just been wondering why I have to do what I do for a few more years. I don't know, man. That's just life. When you're getting started, you got to do school. You got to jump through all the hoops. That's the bad part about being a kid. Bob Knoll, there was a new study showing that easiest language for LLMs to generate correctly is Elixir. I wonder what implications that will have for the future. Oh, that's interesting. I hadn't seen that. Okay, so what's the reasoning behind that? Why would Elixir? I've never written or read any Elixir, but I would think it would be JavaScript or TypeScript or Python. I would think it would either be a tie between JavaScript and TypeScript or Python. But because I would assume there's way more code that it's seen of those languages, but there must be something about Elixir as a language that makes it easier. It's very interesting. Uncle P, we had an entire project that got scrapped to the very start again. Now we get a whole new design to work off of. A long week for sure. Dude, that sucks. That sucks, Uncle P. I'm really sorry about that, man. Ryan, you should create a new Microsoft Clippy assistant. Me? No, man. We don't need to bring back Clippy. Oblivion. It might be noisy, but I feel like exceptions and runtime stack tracing gets pretty expensive. I think exceptions do have at least I believe, or what I've heard is that exceptions do have a pretty large runtime hit in C#. That exceptions are expensive. I'm not sure how that translates to other languages. Like, I'm not sure about error handling and stuff in JavaScript and TypeScript in terms of performance. I'm not sure there. Kirk, Elixir is a great language to have generated the best. Det and Etz are genius. Joe Armstrong is the true programming Chad. Huh? I've never heard of Joe Armstrong, and I've heard of Elixir, but I've never read or written any of it. See, I find that the thing that saves Rust in that case is because you can only return one type, even if it's a wraparound. Things like result is still only a single type. That's nice. Yeah, that's very nice. I need to try Elixir. It seems awesome from the POV of what it does to your mental modeling. Yeah, I haven't, I know nothing about Elixir. Kirk, it's because Elixir isn't flooded with symbols and is written like Ruby. It also has monads for everything, so understanding module closure is easier probably. Interesting. Yeah, I know not, like, I don't even know, I don't know nothing, I know nothing about Elixir, so I'm not even sure what some of those, I mean, I know what a monad is, I know what a closure is. Module, I guess I know what it is. I don't know what it is in the context of Elixir. Written like Ruby. I don't think I've seen any Ruby code before. Maybe some Ruby on Rails code. See, I want to make a game that's basically procrastinating proof writing a document and doing literally everything other than proofwriting. So a game that rewards you for procrastinating? I expected Python or TypeScript too.
The be hard.
Words are hard. Elixir is great. The failover alone is worth it. Kelsey, you can't like Clippy. Clippy is annoying. Alright. What are they trying to teach us about Clippy here? Fix the Clippy lint in this line. Approximate value, const pi found considering using constant directive. Oh, that's cool. Oh, there we go. Isn't Clippy so helpful? Okay, let's do the next one. Actually, hopefully the conversions isn't too long. We might actually be pretty close to the end of all this. Let's see.
I can be annoying, but you love me.
Is that your case for why we should all be appreciative of Clippy? That's funny. Wow, never seen Ruby. Ruby is fun to write. I just wouldn't use it for production systems anymore. Really? Yeah, I think I might have seen some Ruby on Rails code like at one point in time, but I honestly couldn't. I think if you showed me Ruby code, I wouldn't be able to point it out. Voltaire, isn't every game that has side quests a procrastination game? Basically, yeah. I feel like people who love to get 100% completion on games are probably procrastinators in real life. Steven saying, aren't Clippy so helpful? Sounds like, aren't I just the best? Yeah, Erlang is the best system. Code can't literally fail, and you just hot load the module again, build all its state again, and no more Kubernetes ever with Elixir. Interesting. Interesting. Maybe I'll have to do a little Elixir side quest at some point. Monads are easy. It's just a monad. It's just a monoid in the category of endofunctors. I understood none of it. I understood none of that.
Who are you pointing the finger at about procrastination?
Kelsey, do you feel like I called you out? I swear I didn't mean anything by it. How similar is Rust to Java? I honestly don't know, Block, because I've never written any Java. I don't think Rust is at all similar to C#. So if Java and C# are considered similar, I don't think Rust would be very similar to Java, in my opinion. Yeah. So, but I haven't written any Java, and I've only probably written a few hundred lines of Rust code. So, like, take my opinion for what take my opinion for what that would mean. to you. It may, may not be anything to go off of. Kirk is tempting me hard to learn a new language. Well, I guess we know what Bob's doing for the rest of the month. Not remotely close to Java. There you go. So Oblivion must have experience with Java, and I know she's got experience with Rust, so she probably has a better opinion to offer you. Ooh, Steven's going to sleep on the couch. No. No, she won't be mad at me. Is it easier than C#? I don't think Rust is easier than C#. I think Rust, well, I don't know. I guess if you don't know another language, maybe if
The
you...
person who likes to complete games, a completionist if you will, are procrastinators is what you said.
I did say that. I did say that, honey. But I wasn't meaning you. You're an exception. Yeah, I don't...
I'd like to say something.
A programmer is sent to the store by his wife. His wife says, "Get a gallon of milk, and if they have eggs, get a dozen." The programmer returns home with 13 gallons of milk and says, "They had eggs."
That might be one of the funniest text-to-speech messages, because that's literally how my grocery store trips go. Kelsey can vouch for this. I will call her and be like, when you said, did you mean? Because I've failed like that enough times now that, that I always seek clarity. Always. Are you trying Rustlings? Yeah, we've been doing Rustlings actually. We've been doing Rust for like most of January, and so we're almost to the end of it. But yeah, we've been good morning.
Uncle Pee-wee is telling you to drink some coffee.
All right. Coffee it is. What was I saying? Oh, I was saying to block. I think it's easy. I think maybe Rust is easier if you're not coming from any other programming languages. But for me, I felt like C# is easier to learn than Rust has been to learn. But maybe that could be a skill issue on my part. It could just be my previous experiences kind of coloring my experience in Rust. But that's my thoughts. Garbage collection really changes how you think about code. Yeah, or I would say, Voltaire, lack of garbage collection really changes how you think about code. Like, I think the inverse is more difficult or more impactful, right? Having to concern yourself with memory management. I tried setting up Rustlings, but I'm finding it hard. It shouldn't be, really. I thought, so you should just install Cargo, right? You install the Rust toolchain. What is it, Rust C or whatever? You install the Rust toolchain, and then you just clone it, right? I think clone it, and then Rustlings. So, I mean, if you join my Discord, I'm sure somebody in my Discord would be happy to help you work through your errors if you're having trouble. I did Java in high school, but quickly switched to C++ instead for my projects. Oh, interesting. Java just wasn't doing it for you, huh? Artwork. Joined here because follower rewards are funny. Yeah. The rewards over on Twitch are good. The rewards on Twitch are cool because you don't have to spend money to use the rewards. You can just watch the stream and you get points and you can redeem them for rewards. And I wish YouTube had something similar for the XP stuff, but they don't. So Oblivion Cargo, install Rustlings, then go to a folder and run Rustlings. Yeah, that's how simple it was for me too. Rust up to install it. Yes, there you go. But if you're, how can I join your Discord? Yeah, go to discord.stevenfreeborn.com and I'll let you in. Just go to that invite link that was posted in chat, and I'll approve you. But I'm sure somebody in there can take a look at the error messages you're getting and help direct you. Oh, so you just realized when I'm here, Steven says artwork, but on YouTube, Steven says artwork studios. Well, I just try to read whatever's on the screen. I mean, on Twitch, you called me a PP. I did call you. I misread the username. I'm sorry. Sometimes I get tongue-tied. Words are hard. Voltaire, you can do YouTube commands, right? So you could implement your own XP redemption system. Oh, that'd be cool. I wonder, do you think the YouTube API gives you access to people's XP? Because I'd need to be able to like look up and see how much XP someone has. But that's a good idea. Yeah, I just wish there was a way to kind of be able to redeem, like Twitch, I think gives you points for time spent viewing and certain engagement and interaction and stuff. But I don't know if how I could get access to people's XP. Might have to look that up. Kelsey, I cannot program. Skits OG, nice emotes there. Kelsey can learn Scratch. She could, yeah. Kelsey could do anything she sets her mind to. She doesn't give herself enough credit, but she can literally do anything. Steven teaches Kelsey to program stream win. I guess whenever. Well, first off, me trying to teach Kelsey something might be one of the more explosive streams. I knew Kelsey was gonna drop an emote like that. It would be entertaining, to say the least. I'm not a very good teacher. Not because Kelsey's not a good student. It's because I'm not a very good teacher. Let's see. So you can implement something like that on YouTube. Look up camera. Okay. Sorry. Let me copy that real quick. I think it'll be fun. Oh, it'll be fun for everyone else. Entertain us, but not at the cost of our marriage. Yeah, that's good advice to live by. Unfortunately, it seems like some couples do not live by that advice. Hold on. Oh, let's see. I looked that up. Cameron. Camero X with X. Is that a what should I find when I look that up, Ryan? I'm just seeing I'm seeing stuff for a mixologist on Google. Oh, this is an online cocktail bar. Oh, interesting. That's cool. So I wonder how this works. Yeah, I think I found what you were talking about, Ryan. That's cool. Huh. Wait, Twitch rewards are cheaper on C. Yeah, I did. I lowered them. I lowered them to like. Twitch said that everybody gets like 220 points per hour of viewership. That's what Twitch told me. I don't know if that's true. So I just lowered them all to that.
Steven and I have been together 18 years. We could handle a stream. Right, Steven?
Right, honey. Yes. Yes, we could. We could. I'm trying to. Oh, yep. Sorry. I will approve the Discord. If you just submitted an application for the Discord, there you go. We have the application on the Discord because we were trying to keep like the riffraff out of the Discord. Blink twice if you're in danger. I am not in danger. I would really like to teach my wife
It's
to
the getting me
program.
up at 4 a.m.
I would love to wake my wife up at 4 a.m. and teach her how to code on stream. I would love to do this. I'm just kidding. I would. We would have fun. Let's see. He's a software reverse engineer turned mixologist. He implemented a whole point system that you use to order drinks, add to the infinity bottle, create an infusion, etc. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, like I don't know if I'd want to implement the point system myself though. I'd much rather just like reuse YouTube's. You know what I mean? Like just let me have access to YouTube's XP system and let me just reuse that. I'm staring at them eyes. I'm not blinking. I'm not blinking. If you are forced to say that in the next stream, wear a red shirt. This is too funny. It's fun when Kelsey joins the chat. Kelsey is actually would be a much better streamer than me because Kelsey actually has like a big personality, you know? Gives good reactions to things. Me, not so much. My personality's a little dry, but I do what I can.
I am not mean.
I know you're not mean, honey. Steven wears an orange shirt. Wait, a second orange is red and yellow mixed? Yeah. See, replace this loop with an iterator for each, or replace this loop with a while let. I feel like... Oh, that looks terrible. I don't think I've ever used a label before in my life. Did that make Clippy happy? Okay. If Clippy's happy, that's fine. Actually, hold on. Let's see if... Was that the solution? No, that was not the solution. Use if let instead of iteration. Okay. So that was not the solution. So instead we should do if let sum x equals option. That's what it should have been. Alright, let's see. Here are some more easy Clippy fixes that you can see its utility. Fix all the Clippy lints. Remove the none and unwrap. Assume that you don't know the value of my option. In the case of sum, we want to print its value. If option is none, in the case of sum, we want to print its value. Oh. Can we do that? I don't know what I need to do. Let's see. No. I don't know what it wants me to do to fix this. Try if let sum. Oh. Okay. Let sum. Let's see. Sum is my option. Or sorry, S equals my option. then we do S. Good morning, Sogo. Good to see you. Helping. Something that may help, even if you don't use it much in other languages, is inlay hints ghost text. I found it helped with learning Rust a lot. Okay, cool. That's good to know. Yeah, I don't really like inlay hints myself when I'm working in other languages, but that's good to know. Hello, it's Spooky. Good to see you. Steven Jailborn. I keep getting confused when I hear Steven. I think you're talking about me. Well, Steven Jailborn, that's the problem when you make accounts, you know, to troll. Then you get confused. Just got to market it as chillin' and you're set. Let's see, Ryan, YouTube doesn't have a persistent XP system, so you have to implement it yourself. But from what I understand, there's a ton of code that you can yoink and use yourself. Okay, interesting. I'll have to do a deep dive on that. I don't know. I don't know how fun it would be to implement a point system, you know? For types, it's especially nice for Rust. Feels like writing with intelligent types, intelligent auto. That's good to know. Inlay hints for the win. Steven should make Steven Stuckborn. Why Steven Stuckborn? Because I get stuck a lot? Artwork Studios, maybe you can put it in Seedbot. We could probably, yeah. We could probably do that. I need to make better use of that Discord bot. It really doesn't do very much. See, I find it helps a lot because a lot of the code is dot notated. Go to the next line, put dot, and you can see them update, which can be a little quicker if you don't want to read the LSP docs on pop-up. Oh, that's a great point. That's a great point. That's a great case to turn it on. This let binding has unit value. What do you mean? You mean that we need to do something here? Let's swap these as 2. I don't know what the answer is here. Possibly missing a comma. Oh, are we? Okay. I don't know what to do here though. This let binding has a unit value. Replace variable usage with I don't know what to do. Clippy, let unit value. Let's see what it's talking about here. Checks for binding a unit value. Why is this bad? A unit value cannot usefully used anywhere, so binding one is kind of pointless. Okay, but yeah, but it's being used down below. So I don't know.
Chromit is reminding you to hydrate.
Thank you very much. I think resize. What is resize returning? Resize is returning nothing.
Did we just become best friends?
Stay healthy. I appreciate that. Oh no, Steven Stuckborn has entered the chat. Now people are making fake accounts to follow me. We're follow botting ourselves. Did you already ban someone? No, I haven't banned anybody. From Discord? Or from, like, I've definitely banned people from Discord. But I don't think I've banned anybody from YouTube or Twitch in a long time. So define the vec, then resize. Oh, so you're saying do this. My empty vec. What? Cannot mutate, immute. Oh. Emptying a vector with resize, this argument may be inverted. Yeah, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. Chat, tell me what am I supposed to do with this line of code? No, I think the only point of this is it just wants me to fix this Clippy error. But I don't know what to do to fix it. Because resize returns nothing, right? But then we're printing my empty vec here. Delete it. What is the difference between sysadmin and DevOps? In my mind, Eduardo, DevOps is definitely kind of a gray area in a lot of organizations. Like a DevOps engineer at one place is not always the same at another. But to me, the difference between being a system admin and a DevOps person is system admins typically just focus on the infrastructure. They don't really concern themselves with anything about how the application runs on the infrastructure. And I feel like DevOps folks, they're the ones who kind of span that boundary between developers and infrastructure. So they're concerned with the infrastructure, but they're also concerned with how the applications get deployed and run on top of that infrastructure. They kind of sit between those two folks. That's how I conceptualize it in my head. Although based on speaking to people who have that title at different companies, what that looks like seems to vary a lot. Like I've talked to DevOps engineers who basically just say they write Terraform code all day. And then I've talked to DevOps engineers who rack servers and also write some Terraform and also do some maintenance on machines. And you know what I mean? Like it seems like it kind of spans the gamut a little bit depending on where you work. Hellbending, declare and check length. Have you tried unplugging it and plugging it back in? I have not tried that. Hellbending, you can just remove the variable. Like sysadmin is for alerts and runbooks. DevOps is for the setup. Okay, there you go. Uncle Pee-wee has a thought. DevOps is supposed to be a practice, not a role, but somehow ended up being a role. Bob, that might be the best DevOps related sentence I've ever read. Because if you read the Phoenix, or you read the goal, which is where the Phoenix is a tech play on the goal. These are books, if you guys don't know. There's a book called The Goal, and then there's a book called The Phoenix Project, which is basically a rewrite of the goal, but in a text-specific landscape. And you're 100% right, Bob. The whole point of all that wasn't to create a new discipline. It was to drive a new way of doing things, right? But yeah, it definitely got mistranslated there. Deployment of services is definitely DevOpsy than sysadmin. Yeah. Let's see. Cocaine may help with that. Thanks, Eduardo. Appreciate the suggestion, buddy. Not sure what it wants either. Probably some pattern matching magic. Yeah, maybe. I'm confused. Are you supposed to take the non-empty vec and clear it? Exactly. I'm confused too. Programmers hard work or talent? I don't know. I think Quatre, it's like with a lot of things, there's definitely always a talent component, but I think hard work beats talent. But I think if you have somebody who has talent and is also a hard worker, that's a difficult combination to beat, right? It's kind of like if you're a very hard worker, right? But you don't have Kobe Bryant's talent, you're probably not going to be as good as Kobe Bryant or Michael Jordan, right? Like you can probably work at basketball as hard as you want, but you just don't have the innate talent that those folks do, and those folks worked hard and had talent. So I think it's a combination. If you look at the SIG for resize, I can try help explain the diff here. Yeah, I would love to. I would just don't understand how they want me to fix it. So if you could just tell me how they want me to fix it, that would be great. Because they're trying to print it, right? But Clippy doesn't like the fact that this is empty. But it seems like they're okay with printing an empty vec here. So what do I do? Pull up the LSP docs for resize. Here you go. There's LSP. What is the name of the Twitch channel? My Twitch channel? You just go to twitch.stephenfreeborn.com and it'll take you to the right place. Hellbending talent equals sheer obsession. I don't know. I don't necessarily think. I think you can be. I think I could be as obsessed with basketball as Michael Jordan was obsessed with basketball, and I wouldn't ever be Michael Jordan, right? Like I'm not 6 foot. I'm 5'11", right? Like I think there is some innate ability, right, that determines what you're good at. Now, I think your innate ability kind of determines your ceiling, and your work ethic determines how close to that ceiling you get, right? So somebody could have a really high ceiling, but if they don't work hard, they never get there, right? But you could also have some people who work equally hard, and one of them just has a naturally higher ceiling to reach. And that's why I say I think it's a combination of both. Let's see. So resize takes something is a mutt, borrow to itself, which means we don't move it, we operate on it. Okay. What was the original state of the exercise? You can just clear. The original state of the exercise was just, let's see, it was this. This was the original state. It basically just gives you a bunch of Clippy errors and asks you to fix them. And I fixed all of them except this resize one. But I don't know what to do with it. Oh, and I need to add a comma back here. You need to make it mutable to resize though, which means we are changing it without moving it into a different scope. We don't need to declare a vec, then resize it, or you can leave the declare and move the resize to the next line as my empty vec. You need to make it mutable to resize though. So you're saying I should do this, and I should do this. Let's see, emptying a vec with resize. The arguments may be inverted for further information. See resize to 0. Or you can empty the vector with clear. Huh. Yeah, I just don't know what they're trying to get me to do. Well, I mean, what they want me to do is they want me to fix the Clippy error, but I'm not sure what Clippy's trying to get me to do. I might just ask Gemini. Eduardo, what is your favorite meme? I don't know if I have a favorite one. We're basically clearing it. Okay, so you want me just to do this? Let's see, Clippy is still upset. I don't know. Yeah, I'm just going to Gemini. Because this is taking way too long, and I'm tired of fucking around with it. Then they show a weird way of clearing it by filling it with zeros. Yeah. Yo, can you tell me what the fuck Clippy wants me to do here? Diss the code. Oh goodness. Oh goodness. I copied the wrong thing. Diss the code. And this is the message from Clippy. It's funny because Clippy knows something wrong, but it doesn't offer a suggestion. Let's see, diagnostics. Booyah. Ah, the classic Rust gotcha. Ah, the classic. Clippy is yelling at you because you're trying to catch a value that doesn't exist. The problem when you resize Rust, yeah, yes, we're aware of this. You need to declare the vector as mutable first, then call the resize method on a separate line. Okay, let's see if AI is smart enough to figure out what we don't know, because that's literally what we've tried to do like twice now. So this becomes my empty vec. Okay. Let's see, we changed the code to this. Whoops. This is hilarious. Let's see. Great. We changed the code. Now there is a new Clippy error. I gotta say, Rustlings started out pretty good, but now Rustlings has kind of taken an L in the last couple days, in my opinion. Let's see. This is now the error from Clippy.
Grumpy
See, Ray.
Steven no like.
Yeah, that's right. Grumpy Steven no like indeed. See, I have a doubt how to figure things out when it comes to programming. If you have no idea about it whatsoever, I have a doubt how to figure things out when it comes to programming. If you have no, I mean, my solution to it is just to Google the shit out of the problem. That's usually what I do. If I don't know how to do something, I just Google and I experiment and I test and I explore and I set up playground and I write a lot of code until things make sense. It's not very efficient, but it does help me figure things out. Let's see, efficiency, clear method. As the diagnostic suggested, we just swap resize for clear. Okay. We're home free. Steven uses Lisp for a week. No, thank you. I'm done with new languages. At least for a little while. I'm done with new languages for a little while. Oh, there you go. Hellbending had the answer before I had it, or before Gemini had it. Can we look at the expected code? Yeah, for sure we can. Let's see, we're in Clippy 3. Yep, that's exactly what they wanted. Was this. Clippy errors are pretty self-explanatory. They follow a format of this thing you're doing is silly. Here's how to fix it. Well, I guess it's a skill issue on my part, Rex, because I didn't understand what the fuck it wanted. Good morning, Steven in chat. Good morning, Lucho. How are you? Good to see you. All LLMs I've used suck at Rust except Claude and Grok. Oh, okay, that's good to know. I don't know how much Rust I'll be writing, but if I ever need help, I'll make sure and ask Claude. I don't know if I've ever used Grok before. Eduardo, you need to try European coffee. European coffee is the real goat. Do Europeans grow coffee? Can you grow coffee in Europe? I was unaware of this thing. Hellbending gave the answer. Oh, that was like 5 minutes ago then, Bob. Grok's actually really good at coding. Really? Interesting. Lucho, yes. Italians probably. Interesting. I did not know that. I don't think I've ever had coffee sourced from Europe before. That would be a new experience. That would be a new experience indeed. All right, so now we're learning about conversions, but I think we've run out of time. So maybe tomorrow we'll finish this. We just have like 1, 2, 3, 4 more exercises, 5 more exercises. So that's good. I don't think I've committed in a while. Let's see, git add. Oh my goodness. Git commit m progress from, let's see, when was the last time I committed? The 22nd. Progress from 123 to 20. Man, it's crazy that it's 2026. It's weird every time I type that. 29. Yeah, I think we'll actually be done with Rust before the end of the month. So that's
weird.
I am weird. I'm weird. And I'm proud of it though. Cuz normal sucks. Normal and average sucks. So I'm going to be weird. Lucho, never mind. Italians do not grow coffee. Interesting. Well, if anybody knows of European coffee that I can get my hands on, I'd love to try some. Took me about 5 to 6 files to implement authentication logic in Java. Could do it in Python in one file. You can implement authentication probably in any language in a single file if it's a really long file. Yeah, I don't know if being able to implement something in a single file is a good argument for supremacy. Winterwind, hi, how are you? Wish you a good day. Thanks, Winterwind. Appreciate that. I'm doing well. Yeah, I have no complaints. I've got money in my bank account. I've got food in my pantry. My wife and kids are healthy. I've got a nice computer here that I can tinker around and do programming and coding stuff on. I've got a job, so there's nothing to complain about. Life is good. I hope life is good for you as well. Rayx, European is just a roast style, I thought. I don't know. Someone made it seem like you could get a European coffee, so a cartel coffee run. True, yeah, true. Less code is what I meant. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. So probably, yeah. I would guess Python probably has less code than something written in Java. But to each his own. If you like writing Java, write Java. If you like writing Python, write Python. I think I get what the Clippy section expects you to do, whatever Clippy says to do. Well, that's exactly what I thought. I just could not decipher what exactly I was supposed to change to make Clippy happy. His wife roasts him. She roasts me constantly, but it's all in good fun. It's all in good fun. I mean, we've been together. My wife and I have been together since I was 15 and she was 17, and I'm 32 and she's 34. So like at this point we're basically we're completely different people. I mean, we've changed. We've been different people like many times over now in the last 15, 17 years, right? So like we're like really, really good friends at this point.
Sarcasm is our love language.
Yeah, exactly. But I have to be not too sarcastic. I have to be nice. I can't go too far, lest I don't want to hurt Kelsey's feelings. My sarcasm can be mean at times. Mahi ABC 123. I don't know why you put that in the chat, Mahi, but good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping in. Oh, now you did it. You told her age. I don't think Kelsey's concerned with getting old. I know I'm not concerned with getting old. I can't wait to be an old person. Damn, that's a long time. It is a long time. Yeah, it is a long time. Eduardo, guys, I didn't know we could use bash in PowerShell. I don't think you can necessarily use bash in PowerShell, but you can alias things to PowerShell equivalents. Like I have CD aliased to something, and LS is aliased to something.
I have no issues with people knowing my age. I'll be 35 in April.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Getting old, man. Growing old's a privilege. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to run. I got to go get ready for work. YouTuber life ends at 7 o'clock here. YouTube life ends at 7 a.m. All right. Well, thanks for hanging out with me. If you're new here and you want to come back and hang out in the future, I'll put my schedule in the chat. It's 4:15 to 7 a.m. each morning. And if you'd like to talk to chat or I outside of stream, the best place to catch us is Discord. And it's super easy to remember. It's just discord.stephenfreeborn.com. Anybody's welcome. There is an application, but the application is just there so that, like, if you're a troll and I ask you to fill out 2 fields on a form, you're too lazy to do it, so then you'll move on with your life. That's the only reason it exists. Steven living the double life? Pretty much, yeah. I have one life, which is like normal employee, and then I have YouTuber world. And YouTuber world exists from like 4:15 to 7 a.m. in the morning, and then normal employee world exists the rest of the day. See you, Hellbending. Have a good day. See you, Duck Boy. Sounding like the Twilight Zone. It is a little bit like the Twilight Zone. Eduardo, what is your role? You can find me on LinkedIn. Here you go, LinkedIn. LinkedIn.stephenfreeborn.com. You can connect with me over there. I work as a quality engineer, so my day job is basically writing automated and manual tests for a SaaS, a web-based, a cloud-based SaaS platform. But if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, you can do that there, linkedin.stephenfreeborn.com. You can also creep on all of my professional history if you'd like to see kind of how my career's evolved over time. Thanks, Bob. See you, man. Appreciate you hanging out. All right, chat. I'm out of here. Are they hiring? We have.
That's how Steven says it.
That is how I say it. Bye. They're not, or at least I don't think we're hiring for anything like technical. If you go to onspring.com/careers, you can find open jobs. Now, granted, I should always put this disclaimer here. Everything I do here has nothing to do with them. Separation of church and state, right? My opinions and all my thoughts and all that stuff do not reflect those of my employer. But I'm pretty public and an open book about, like, you can go to LinkedIn, you can see where I work. So if you're interested, you can go to their website and check it out. But I don't know of any. We're not hiring for anything technical that I'm aware of. Eduardo, so you find errors of other people's work? Yeah, basically, I try not to look at it as like me trying to be critical of our developers, because I love our developers, I love our engineers, I love working with our development team. My job is just to try to help build systems that, and they can be manual systems or they can be automated systems, but help build systems that help us maintain the quality of our platform. That's all, and it's a team thing. We're all invested in that. And does that mean occasionally we find bugs? Sure, but like that's not really what it's about, right? It's trying to put out the highest quality platform that we can. So we're all a team, and that's one of my favorite things about my work is, like, you see those memes about like development and quality teams that sort of like are rivals, and we're not. We're all just one team, right? And I just happen to kind of specialize in one area. Stream is wrapping up. Yeah, I was just answering a few questions and I'm out of here. Imagine we see Steven IRL and we are just like, hey, Steven. Well, I do live in the real world. So yeah, if you're ever in Kansas City, Kansas, maybe you'll see me walking around Walmart or something. Naturally, but gotta say it. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Feedback is very important. Yeah, feedback's important. Yeah, for sure it is. All right, guys. I'm out of here. Bye. Bye. See you guys.